Hi and welcome to your very last SEO Space Lab episode. SEO Space Lab has been followed by over 3,000 SEO cosmonauts over the last weeks. And we've had the chance to welcome stellar SEO speakers, so thank you again for everyone who joined us before. If you missed the previous episode, you can still watch them on our YouTube channel. For today's episode, we have François Goube, CEO and founder at Oncrawl, and he'll be talking about why startup culture can't live without technical SEO. So feel free to ask your question using the chat section, use the hashtag SEO Space Lab, and we take the time at the end to answer all your questions. So François, the mic is all yours.
Thank you, Emma. Hi, everybody. Very glad to be here with you today and to close this SEO Space Lab webinar series. Thanks everybody, every panelist who joined us over the last few weeks. It's been really great pleasure to have you on this web series. So today we're gonna talk about growing a company, building a company, and why it's key factor of success to have SEO involved in the whole process. So let's start with a few stuff. When you're building a company, it all starts with an idea. You are with your pals, you are thinking about changing the world or disrupting an industry. It all starts with an idea, and for all entrepreneurs out there, it's what's exciting is to think about the idea of building something that you care about, and the idea is just the start. Ideas are really easy. Everybody can have them. The main thing is to execute them well. And as Guy Kawasaki said, ideas are easy and implementation is hard. And the main thing is about doing things. And chances are SEOs are doers. We know that in our culture as SEOs, we used to have hands deep into everything, and this is why it's a key factor of success for startups, and we see in a minute how that aligns. But let's go back to the idea of building a company. When you have that idea, you think you're disrupting something. You're trying to innovate, and when it comes to when you're talking about startups, it's all about disrupting something, move the lines, and try to build something from the ground and from scratch, and to innovate at some point. Either it's from a technical perspective or from a usage perspective. So when you start with that idea, you think you're disrupting something, but that's wrong. What you're doing is you're just building a team. You're trying to bring people with you to chase the achievement of that idea. And the main thing, and when you are talking with investors or serial entrepreneurs, the key thing is the team. There are some investors that are saying that there are three main things when you're building a company: the team, and the team. So you're not being creative by having an idea. Your job when you're building a startup is to build the team. And the team is the aggregation of all strengths of every people, and your role is to try to keep things organized. And when it comes to that, when you have SEO pulse at your side, things might get better. So you're trying to build your product to achieve a great product market fit. And again, SEOs they have skills, they have in their DNA the right strengths to help you build that great product market fit, and we'll see that in a minute. So you make choices about recruiting the right pals, and having an SEO mindset will help you down the road, definitely. And this is what this talk is all about. So let's go back to what's in our DNA as SEOs. We know how to work with frugality in mind. We are multitasking every day long. We have a deep technical knowledge. We are cunning foxes. We have that tricky mind so that we can grab some opportunities. We are trying to operate with at low cost as well. We are solution finders. And of course, we have analytics skills, which makes a great playground for building a startup. And of course, we'll talk about keyword research. We have hands deep into the market comprehension as well, because we know how to understand what people are looking for. So which makes us a good partner for building a startup. And we know as SEOs that you can't build Roma in a minute or in one day. Things take time, and we have that long-term thinking in our DNA, and we have the ability to plan things and to keep things organized and talk to multiple stakeholders. I mean developers. I mean product managers as well, and even CXO level. So the ability to plan things and to operate in a multicultural environment, we know that from day one. So this is the strength we have in our DNA to make us greatly aligned with building a startup. So of course, we are used to operate at low cost. We know that for years, I would say decades, SEO has been the most underinvested traffic source. We used to operate with small teams with barely no tool or data or help from any of any kind, we for all of the SEOs that have started working in that industry at the beginning of Y2K, we didn't have anything to rely on to build SEO strategy. So we used to be on our own and build our own stuff. So we used to think outside of the box, and this is a great strength for a startup as well. As we did not have back in the time tons of informations or reliable sources about SEO tactics. We needed to iterate and test things, and sometimes we needed to take some risks. So I believe SEOs are smart enough to seize opportunities and make hard choices, which make us valuable partners in any venture. When it comes to multitasking, when you're building a company, you're trying to do everything because you're lacking of human resources, and so you're switching from a topic to another every hour. And as SEOs, we're used to that. Multitasking is our daily bread. I mean, keyword research, switching to building technical architecture, approaching some data, talking with developers, writing or setting up a content strategy, analyzing the conversion rate, trying to optimize things. We are stretched between daily operations and strategic thinking. So I believe that we are formatted to be great partners and great company builders. And when you're looking at how people are evolving in our industry, a lot of them are becoming entrepreneurs or freelancers on their own, and they build their own stuff. This is something that is very clear when you're looking at LinkedIn profiles of some of our guys in our industry. The second thing is that we have a very good technical culture. The vast majority of our pals, I mean technical SEO guys, are aware of coding, and they have notions of how to crunch data. People are also sometimes web analysts as well. Their scope and their all that they know covers the vast majority of the topics founders of startup need to deal with. And of course, they have programming skills at some point. They know how to deal with developers, and they understand building things takes time and anticipation. So this is why the macro view people are getting with an experience in SEO is a very, very interesting strength when you're trying to build something from scratch. Let's stop there for a minute. Of course, we used to build our own data sets. We used to build our own tools. We used to write some weird macros in Excel back in the days. We used to have some headaches doing some weird VLOOKUPs to do some keyword research. We struggle a lot because of the lack of tools back in the day. So not only we have this ability to build our own thing, but we have this this ability to step down a little bit and see things from an upper level and try to analyze all the data, think about the reliability of data, think about how our business is running, what's important, what matters in our business. And that analytics mind will help you take some great decision as a founder of a company. I believe that when it comes to long-term thinking, we are making this right, because as Warren Buffett says, someone sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. And we know that when we are writing some content, building our website architecture, putting some backlinks pointing to a particular zone of our website, we know that it won't be an overnight success. It will take time. It will take some little actions to perfect that. We have in mind that this is the results will come later, and our way to long-term think help us planting seeds for the future, and not only regarding SEO-oriented actions. It's also true when it comes to technical choices, how we target people, how we are storytelling our product, and of course we are not used anymore to go where the wind blows. We can do quick and dirty experiments to validate our hypothesis. And we know, for instance, to build a landing page to see how it will convert. We can test things on some websites of our network to check the responsiveness of the Google bots regarding a particular technical implementation, and we can share the proof of what we are what we are saying is right, and not only for SEO-oriented action, but also when it comes to I believe this can apply to other fields within a company regarding finance, regarding product management, regarding how you hire people as well. So definitely our long-term thinking power is very valuable for a startup company. And so we used to build trust through quick wins, and because of the fact that driving growth is very hard, and that we need to have support from our partners, investors, we know that we need to show off our quick wins to earn their trust, and this is true as well when it comes to keyword research. Our goal as SEOs is to make the traffic convert, bring traffic first, and of course assure that the landing pages and the content that is produced is good to convert. And as we know where and what to look at, it's really easy for us to get the culture of the market we are operating on. We know how to dig into Quora, into Reddit, into some social networks to understand what is the keywords that are used, how people are talking about a particular topic, and we can build quick wins every day because of our approach of how we are doing our part of marketing. And as we know that trust is built through quick wins, I believe SEOs can help startups to have that culture of earning trust through quick wins, and then iterate and go bigger the next time. That's something very, very critical for any startup in the world. I also believe that SEOs are very aware about building some assets. When it comes to content, we know that having great content on our website is good to rank on Google, right? But when you have some content that make your audience captive, or that is a source of acquisition on a regular basis, this is an asset for the company. I was exchanging with a software company in the HR field, and they have like 2,000 blog posts on the blog, and every blog post is sought with in mind how it will convert at the end of the day, and it's clearly something that is an asset for them. And you know, this is when it comes to acquiring traffic, all this content make a certain volume of traffic every day or every month. It's barely stable. In time, if you update the content that is useless, so you keep on having a certain threshold of traffic, and this is clearly an asset. And when sometimes I'm doing some due diligence for funds or companies or acquiring particular startup, or in the vast majority of the cases, e-commerce websites. And this is something I'm looking at first. What's the amount of traffic those guys are getting every day? Is it stable? Is the article or that bunch of articles are able to still rank over the next 6 to 12 months? And this is something, when it comes to evaluate the value of a company, this is something investors are having in mind now. And so by doing an SEO job, you are building assets of a company. And this is the same when it comes to technical choices. I believe SEOs are helping developers not going into some fancy stuff. We all know that I believe all of you guys had this talk with developers regarding JavaScript, for instance, and we know that this is not a very good idea. I was talking with someone at Bing yesterday, and he was saying JavaScript is the new Flash. So by orienting some technical choices, we are helping developers or CTOs make great choice. And as they are making great choice regarding the technical platform they are building, this is becoming an asset, also an asset to a company. We can help them avoid having any technical debt, and this is something investors will look at as well. And last point, when you're talking about scalability, I'm seeking web performance as well. And we all know that SEOs have been concerned by that for years now. So all this stuff are great assets for a company, and you can rely on an SEO to build that. And of course, when you look at that quote from Biz Stone, the co-founder of Twitter, creativity comes from constraints. And on all these items, we know as SEOs that we are dealing with tons of constraints, and we are just trying to be to apply the most effective solutions, and solutions that won't be discussed in the upcoming months. These are solutions that will last certain amount of time to be the fundamentals of what we build next. So always think about getting the advice of an SEO guy when you are thinking about the strategy on everything marketing, everything technical, everything organizational. Therefore, I'm deeply convinced SEO is the right mindset for building a company, and definitely a key success factor for any company in the world. So I just wanted to share with you some top 5 of SEO things startup must do. First thing is to analyze your market. When you don't have any tons of bugs under your belt, it's really hard to pay like a Gartner analysis or having access to some great studies in a particular niche, or perhaps it does not exist at all. So you're on your own. As we are all used to do some keyword research, we are able to build not a pixel perfect picture of the market, but we can understand what are the great trends, what people are caring regarding a particular product, and we love to share stuff, and we are all friendly in our industry, so we can also exchange with all other SEOs out there that might have some creative ideas. We know how to chase our market audience because we know how to deal with social media. We know how to deal with big communities on Reddit or Quora. As Josh Greenberg says, we are the market and we know what we want. We have this ability as SEOs to to enter a particular community and to understand their codes, to understand how they talk to each other. We have this capacity of adaptation that is an asset for understanding what the market is all about. And when it comes to product market fit, of course, this is something that makes your company a success. So analyze your market. The way an SEO can do it is obviously something startups should think about. We love to track things in our analytics software. We love to understand conversions and funnels, and we are kind of geeks when it comes to play with Data Studio and crunching the data. I believe SEOs can build the very first dashboards for managing a company, and regarding content, it's really easy to focus on what matters. What is shared on that screen is the categories of content, or the different website categories you can rely on to track, to drive traffic and get some signups to your platform, for instance, or any kind of conversions. So I believe that SEOs are great guys to drive leads and analyze what pieces of content bring the most valuable customers. And by analyzing not only the content, but what are the most valuable customers, they are managing the whole way from acquiring a customer to understand what's a valuable customer as well. And when you have that in mind as a startup, it's very important because you're not growing your company with business angel money, a Series A, a Series B, a Series C. The goal of any company in the world is to be profitable and to target the right customers and add some value for all the stakeholders. And I believe SEOs have that in mind from day one. Regarding marketing and regarding how we try to deal with content writing, SEOs are used to build the right content and the right message. We know how to analyze what type of content is useful, and we know to find our path into communities as well. By thinking, by applying SEO tactics regarding content, regarding how we are telling the story of the company, how to build the right message, I mean the message that will convert, I believe it's easier when you don't have any financial resource to rely on the workforce of a partner that can be previously a technical SEO guy, because he will have all the qualities required to build something great in terms of marketing. We are also used to focus on web performance, and we all know that the user experience and the loading time of your app or your website is key for customer conversion. There are many figures when you're looking at how the conversion rate of a particular page will drop down if the loading time is getting longer. It's very, very important to keep that in mind, because you know, when you're building a product, when you're trying to hire people, and that you are multitasking, switching from finance to product to HR all day long, you might lose the order of your priority. And when it comes to product, if you don't have the basics of SEO in mind, you might not tackle something very important, which is how fast and how the UX is important for your customers. If it's just work, or if you are tackling something that is very hard technically, you might forget how people will use your tool or your software. So it's very, very important to keep that in mind, and I believe SEOs will think about this every day. Startups are used to do tons of PR, because this is way incubators, startup advisors are telling them. But okay, I don't believe this is a game changer when you're in your overall strategy. But when you're doing that, because you will do that, you want to put the spotlight on your product or on your company, don't be stupid. Don't forget to ask for a backlink. Even if it's a no-follow backlink, we don't know how things can evolve in the near future regarding how search engines will understand links and or understand mentions of your website on the web. So never forget to ask for a backlink. It can drive referral traffic, and sometimes it will send some link juice as well. And we all know that online media are, in the vast majority of the cases, trusted sources. So never lose an opportunity to get some of these backlinks. So in conclusion, if you want to be stronger building a company, you should definitely hire or partner with an experienced technical SEO. This is something I have in mind for years now, and I have dozens of examples of founders of companies that were previous SEOs. And we have a great example in Europe. A company worth $500 million that has been built. It's an online media, and it has been built by a guy doing SEO. And there are now like 1,000 people in the company, and they own the vast majority of any vertical news portal all over Europe. And it's just crazy how this SEO-oriented mind has been building again and again each step of that company, and there are many examples out there. So if you're thinking about building a company, think about partnering with someone with experience in SEO. It will definitely worth the deal. So it's time for Q&A. If you have any suggestion or need, or if you need advice on building your startup, feel free to drop me a line at François@Oncrawl.com. I'll be very happy to help.
Thank you, François. As you just say, so if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat section to ask them. We have some 5 minutes left here to answer some questions. I have the first one. What's your favorite KPI to measure your return on investment of your company? And are you using any tools to do it? François?
I'm sorry, the connection was lagging.
Oh, sorry. I was saying the first question is, do you have any favorite KPIs you like to follow to track your return on investment?
Well, let me give you a few examples. We saw it really depends on what market you're operating on. So the first thing is to understand what are the KPIs that matter regarding your market. And let me give you an example. How an SEO-oriented mind can apply to building a startup in the sharing economy world, for instance. Let's say you're building the Airbnb copycat for barbers or whatever. The main thing when it comes to the sharing economy is the key factor of success is the size of your catalog. Airbnb is now the biggest hotel in the world. Their catalog is very, very big. And when you're operating in those sharing economies area, the barrier at the entrance of the market is quite low in terms of technology. So the main thing is to execute very fast regarding building your catalog, and you can use some SEO tactics to monitor how your competitors are doing. And if I were building a sharing economy type of company, I will scrap all the catalog of all my competitors to see how they are acquiring their catalog and who has the biggest catalog on the market, so that I can understand and adjust my actions to keep on being in the race. So there is no one size fits all answer, but usually when it comes to building a company, it's just how much cash you have in the bank, and what's your burn rate, and what's your milestone, what's the value you're creating every day. And when it comes to more web metrics, of course, the traffic that is converting is something, for instance, at Oncrawl we are looking at every day.
Thank you. Believe me, we don't have any more questions at the moment. So thank you everyone who joined this episode. It was actually the last one. So thank you to everyone who tuned into SEO Space Lab. We hope you really enjoyed this webinar series. We had a great time organizing it, and we have the chance to get some pretty incredible speakers. So thank you, everyone. If you missed the previous episode, you can still watch them on our YouTube channel or directly on Oncrawl websites. So thank you, François, for your time. Thank you, everyone, and see you next time.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Emma. Bye-bye.